Let's begin by offering our respects to our founder Acharya and our preeminent Shiksha Guru, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
चलते ग्रुप चलाएंगे
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai.
जय
Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Itti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpataruvyaschа kripa sindhu vyayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
नमो भगवते
Vasudevaya.
वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो
Om
भगवते
Namo
नमो
वासुदेवाय
भगवते
Bhagavate
वासुदेवाय
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
ओम
Namo
ओम
नमो
नमो
Bhagavate
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय
Vasudevaya.
वासुदेवाय नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
So we welcome all of you to our weekly Krishna book classes. Thank you all very much for joining. We have with us here Auntie Neeta, Divya, Devina, Durga Prasad, Hari, Jagrati, Jayashri, Joli Nandwani, Kamala Nandini Mataji. Then we have Anjali Karnani, Karuna, Manjuni Halani. Then we have Makeshwari Mataji. Then we have N.C. Venkatchari, Naresh Budrani. My husband is there. Then we have Ritu Lalwani. We have Romi. We have Shailesh Latkar. We have Shantaram Latkar, Sheetal Latkar. Then we have Shivani, Shreya Kalaria. We have Swapna Latkar. and we have Upasana. Okay. So in the previous class, we saw the killing of which demon?
Agasura.
Agasura. So what kind of a demon was Agasura? Was he a duck? Was he a...
Like demon.
Serpent.
He
Serpent.
was a snake demon, no?
Snake.
He was a snake demon. So what anartha did Agasura represent?
Cruelty.
Cruelty. Why does he represent cruelty?
Because he wanted to kill everybody. All
And
the
he,
children and everybody.
yes, he wanted to kill all the
He wanted to
inhabitants
kill
of
everybody in
Vrindavan, including
Vrindavan.
the cows, the gopas, the parents of the gopas. He wanted to kill all the residents of Sri Vrindavan Dham. No? So therefore, he represents cruelty. Now we have to remember that all these anarthas that these demons represent, when Krishna kills these demons and these demons represent a certain anartha, it means when we have these anarthas in our heart, when we have these meaningless, useless things in our heart, then those are destroyed by Krishna. As we engage in bhakti, as we advance more and more in our spiritual life, then all these anarthas are cleaned up by Krishna. This is what we have to remember when we see the anarthas of the demons. Okay. So today, by the mercy of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna, we will see the next chapter. Chapter number 13.
13.
Chapter 13 of Krishna book is titled The Stealing of the Boys and Calves of Brahma. This is also called as the Brahma Vimohana Leela. Brahma Vimohana Leela. This is the Leela which left Lord Brahma completely bewildered. Completely bewildered. So we will see this and we'll see what it deals with. Yeah, Shreya, you have your hand raised?
Yes, Mataji. Before we start, I had a question regarding the last chapter. So I thought that the Gopas thought that it is a cave and they entered, but they knew that it was a snake, right?
They were thinking both ways. Probably it's a cave, probably it's a snake. They had both angles of vision. They were thinking both ways.
Okay.
So they thought that even if it's a
Snake,
demon,
that's
then
right.
Krishna will save us.
Okay. Okay.
I think they had identified somewhere in the chapter that it is some sort of a creature.
Yes, because
Conversation somewhere.
so some of them are discussing like this, and some of them are. It's like a discussion that's going on between the
Yes.
friends, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we saw that this killing of Agasura demon ended with Maharaj Parikshit asking Sukadeva Goswami a question. Who remembers what that question was?
And why did
Yes, why for 1 year no one was informed about the Agasura episode?
Exactly. Why is it that after 1 year only this was revealed, this killing of Agasura was revealed to the rest of the residents of Vrindavan? No? So this was his question. And in answer to that question now, Sukadeva Goswami is narrating this particular incident. Okay. Sukadeva Goswami was very much encouraged. Oh, 1 second. Sukadeva Goswami was very much encouraged when Maharaj Parikshit asked him why the cowherd boys did not discuss the death of Agasura until 1 year had passed. He explained thus, My dear king, you are making the subject matter of the transcendental pastimes of Krishna fresher by your inquisitiveness. So is Sukadeva Goswami happy that Maharaj Parikshit is asking questions?
Yes.
Why? What does he say?
He says, of course, in the line next, he says that the two disciples of Krishna, they are so engrossed into Krishna, and they want to learn more, and hence they
Even
ask more.
because of the pastimes, I think so. Because of the pastimes,
So what kind of pastimes are these? What?
transcendental.
Transcendental. What do we mean by transcendental?
Dear transcendent.
It
Divine?
it is beyond the
Uh-huh.
material
Not of
image.
So what do we mean by transcendental divine? It means it is not on the material platform. It is not on the
It is
material
beyond the
platform, right?
material.
Remember, this material world is the perverted reflection of the spiritual world, which we have already discussed previously. So therefore, when something is transcendental, it is something that one doesn't get bored with. Anything on the material platform is not like that. No, you may enjoy, let's say you love gulab jamuns and you eat one, you will relish it. Then you eat two, you will relish it. Three, you will relish it. But how many gulab jamuns can you eat? Then later you get bored of it and you don't want it anymore. No, so material calculation is like that. But anything that is transcendental is something that is always relished. It is evergreen. It is ever fresh. So therefore, Sukadeva Goswami is saying that you are making this transcendental pastimes of Krishna fresher by your inquisitiveness. So as we have discussed previously, the disciple has every right to ask questions to the spiritual master. But of course, the questions should be relevant questions also. And with the proper mood, the questions should always be asked to the Guru. So now let's see what happens next. It is said that it is the nature of a devotee to constantly apply his mind, energy, words, ears, etc. in hearing and chanting about Krishna. This is called Krishna consciousness. For one who is rapt in hearing and chanting about Krishna, the subject matter never becomes hackneyed or old. That is the significance of transcendental subject matter in contrast to material subject matter. Material subject matter becomes stale and one cannot hear a certain subject for a long time. He wants change. But as far as transcendental subject matter is concerned, it is called Nitya Navayamana. This means that one can go on chanting and hearing about the Lord and never feel tired, but remain fresh and eager to hear more and more. So if you see the Sanskrit in the Srimad Bhagavatam, actually Sukadeva Goswami addresses Maharaj Parikshit as best of the devotees. He calls him a Mahabhagavat. And why does he say he's a Mahabhagavat? Is because Maharaj Parikshit is always relishing the pastimes of Krishna. He is not saying that, oh, I've already heard this. I already know about this. Because he has also gone to the Gurukul. He has also received spiritual knowledge in the Gurukul, right? But he is relishing these pastimes of Krishna, which are ever fresh. So even though you hear the same Leela over and over and over again, you will read the same Bhagavad Gita over and over and over again, it will always appear fresh. But if we feel that, but I already know this, I have already heard this, I don't want to hear it anymore, then it means that we are still on the materialistic platform. We are still on the materialistic platform. A devotee, even if he has heard Krishna Leelas before, he will perceive the pastimes of Krishna as new and fresh. So this is what is we are reading here, no? What Sukadeva Goswami thinks about Maharaj Parikshit. See, even this year, chanting about Krishna, when we chant the holy name, there are only three words, no? Ram, Krishna, and Hare. There are only three words in this Hare Krishna mantra. And devotees every day, day in and day out, they are chanting this Hare Krishna mantra 16 rounds. Today, tomorrow, day by day, year after year, entire lifetime. Some devotees now have been chanting for 50, 60 years. Some devotees have been chanting since their childhood, no? So they don't get bored. They don't get bored because it is ever fresh. Even the holy name is ever fresh. It doesn't cause any boredom. But if you try chanting something else, let's say you try chanting Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Cola-Cola, Coca-Cola, you cannot go very far. But the chanting of the holy name is so potent that even if you chant for so many years, entire lifetime, still one does not get bored. It appears ever fresh. See here in the Srimad Bhagavatam purport, unless one is very advanced in Krishna consciousness, one cannot stick to hearing the pastimes of the Lord constantly. Nityam Navaya Manam. Even though advanced devotees hear continually about the Lord for years, they still feel that these topics are coming to them as newer and fresher. Therefore, such devotees cannot give up hearing the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Okay, coming back to Krishna book. It is the duty of the spiritual master to disclose all confidential subject matters to the inquisitive and sincere disciple. Thus, Sukadeva Goswami began to explain why the killing of Aghasura was not discussed until 1 year had passed. Sukadeva Goswami told the king, "Now hear of this secret with attention. After saving his friends from the mouth of Aghasura and killing the demon, Lord Krishna brought his friends to the bank of the Yamuna and addressed them as follows. My dear Krishna, just see how this spot is very nice for taking lunch and playing on the soft, sandy Yamuna bank. You can see how the lotus flowers in the water are beautifully blown and how they distribute their fragrance all around. The chirping of the birds, along with cooing of the peacocks, surrounded by the whispering of the leaves in the trees, combine and present sound vibrations that echo one another. And this just enriches the beautiful scenery created by the trees here. Let us have our lunch in this spot because it is already late and we are feeling hungry. Let the calves remain near us and let them drink water from the Yamuna. While we engage in our lunch taking, the calves may engage in eating the soft grasses that are in this spot." So after killing Aghasura, Krishna has come up with an exciting proposal. He wants to have a picnic with his friends by the banks of the river Yamuna. And he's saying that we can sit here in this spot, we can have our picnic because we are already feeling very hungry, it's late. And the calves can remain near us while the calves eat the soft grass. We can also have our lunch. So this is Krishna's exciting proposal. On hearing this proposal from Krishna, all the boys became very glad and said, "Certainly, let us all sit down here to take our lunch." They then loosed the calves to eat the soft grass. Sitting down on the ground and keeping Krishna in the center, they began to open their lunch boxes brought from home. Lord Sri Krishna was seated in the center of the circle, and all the boys kept their faces toward him. They ate and constantly enjoyed seeing the Lord face to face. Krishna appeared to be in the bowl of the lotus flower, and the boys surrounding him appeared to be its different petals. The boys collected flowers, leaves of fruits, and the bark of trees and placed their lunch on them, as well as in their lunch boxes. And thus they began to eat their lunch, keeping company with Krishna. So, how are they seated? Krishna is in the center, all the Gopa friends are around him. So, whom is Krishna
Face to
facing?
face.
So, whom is Krishna facing face to face?
All
Everyone.
little brother.
Everyone, right? Everyone. So, see, all the Gopa friends have this desire that we want to face Krishna out of love. They have this desire that each one is thinking, I want to face Krishna. And Krishna also is reciprocating with the love of the Gopas by making himself, his face and limbs, he is making them appear to each one of them simultaneously. So each boy is thinking that Krishna, I am sitting directly in front of Krishna, and others are facing the side or the back of Krishna. No, each boy is thinking like that because Krishna is reciprocating with the desire and the love of the Gopa friends. So he Krishna reciprocates to the love of his devotees according to how the devotee is giving his love to Krishna. While taking lunch, each boy began to manifest different kinds of relations with Krishna, and they enjoyed each other's company with joking words. While Lord Krishna was thus enjoying lunch with his friends, his flute was pushed within the belt of his cloth on his right side, and his bugle and cane were pushed in on the left side of his cloth. In his left palm, he was holding a lump of food prepared with yogurt, butter, rice, and pieces of fruit salad, which could be seen through his petal like finger joints. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who accepts the results of all great sacrifices, was laughing and joking, enjoying lunch with his friends in Vrindavan, and thus the scene was being observed by the demigods from heaven. As for the boys, they were simply enjoying transcendental bliss in the company of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, why are the demigods watching?
because
They
it's
can
not.
also enjoy.
So they are saying how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is laughing and joking with with his friends, no, like a simple cowherd boy, and how they are having lunch with each other. Actually, what they were doing was they were exchanging. Krishna was eating from others' lunch boxes, and others were eating from his lunch box. So they are eating what they say in Hindi, jhuta, no? Ek dusre ka jhuta they are eating, no? The food is contaminated. Normally, when we offer food to the Lord, we cannot offer jhuta, right? We offer it to the Lord and then only we can consume the prasad. But here, the boys and Krishna, they are interchanging the food that is there in each other's lunch boxes. So therefore, it is said here, see, where did we read that? See, the Supreme Personality of Godhead who accepts the results of all great sacrifices. So when yagyas are done, then all the results of the yagya eventually goes to Krishna only, because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is if we offer something to the Devatas also, the Devatas offer it to Krishna, because even the Devatas are devotees of Krishna. No? So Krishna is the ultimate beneficiary of all yagyas. And this person who's the beneficiary of all these great yagyas, all these great sacrifices, is enjoying eating lunch with his friends, and they are eating from each other's lunch boxes also. So this is like a cultural shock for the Devatas. Okay. At that time, the calves that were pasturing nearby entered into the deep forest, allured by new grasses, and gradually went out of sight. When the boys saw that the calves were not nearby, they became afraid for their safety, and they immediately cried out, Krishna! Krishna is the killer of fear personified. Everyone is afraid of fear personified, but fear personified is afraid of Krishna. By crying out the word Krishna, the boys at once transcended the fearful situation. Out of his great affection, Krishna did not want his friends to give up their pleasing lunch engagement and go searching for the calves. He therefore said, My dear friends, you need not interrupt your lunch. Go on enjoying. I am going personally to find the calves. Thus, Lord Krishna, still carrying the lump of yogurt and rice preparation in his left hand, immediately started to search out the calves in the caves and bushes. He searched in the mountain holes and in the forest, but nowhere could he find them. What is the takeaway point from this paragraph? What do you think?
Like Krishna is taking care of his friends so much, you know. So it says that out of his great affection, he didn't wanted to. He give up their pleasing lunch engagement and go searching for the cows himself, and not asked like his friends to go.
Exactly. Very nice, Shreya. So, he doesn't want to interrupt his friends. He wants, okay, you enjoy. I will personally go and search for the calves, Krishna is saying. So, when it comes to his devotees, Krishna personally takes care of his devotees. Personally. No, once we surrender to Guru, then the law of karma does not apply on us. Then it is Krishna who is personally taking care of us, right? Once we surrender to Guru and Krishna, then whatever suffering or enjoyment is coming is not because of our karma. Whatever suffering or enjoyment that is coming is because Krishna is giving it to us. No, even if it is not in our karma, say to have a big house, Krishna will override the rule and he will give us the big house, because he knows that our desire is, I want this big house so that I can have these great big programs and I want to use the house in the service of Krishna. On the other side, maybe it's in our karma to live opulently. But Krishna may take away our opulence if he sees that that opulence is coming in the way of my spiritual well-being. No, so that law of karma will apply to us only until we don't surrender to Krishna. But once we surrender, then whatever is coming to us, it's coming to us from Krishna, because Krishna he personally takes care of his devotees. Okay. At the time when Aghasura was killed and the demigods were looking on the incident with great surprise, Brahmā, who was born of the lotus flower growing out of the navel of Vishnu, also came to see. He was surprised how a little boy like Krishna could act so wonderfully. Although he was informed that a little cowherd boy was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he wanted to see more of the Lord's glorious pastimes, and thus he stole all the calves and cowherd boys and took them to a different place. Lord Krishna, therefore, in spite of searching for the calves, could not find them. And he even lost his boyfriends on the bank of the Yamuna, where they had been taking their lunch. In the form of a cowherd boy, Lord Krishna was very little in comparison to Brahma. But because he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he could immediately understand that all the calves and boys had been stolen by Brahma. Krishna thought, Brahma has taken away all the boys and calves. How can I alone return to Vrindavan? The mothers will be aggrieved. So Lord Brahma, he's seeing that Krishna is this, he's like some 5 years old, no, and he is exchanging lunch boxes. And Brahma is thinking, is this the same personality who has killed Aghasura? No, and therefore now he wants to see the power of Krishna. He wanted to test. Brahma wanted to test Krishna. The acharyas explain. He wanted to test Krishna. He wanted to show some of his own power, and he wanted to see the power of Krishna. So therefore, what has he done? What has he done? He has kidnapped the calves as well as he has kidnapped all the Gopa friends of Krishna. And does Krishna know? Does Krishna understand this?
Yes.
Yes, Krishna has understood that it is the work of
Brahma is
Lord
doing.
Brahma. Yes. But now he's saying, how can I alone return to Vrindavan? Because the calves have gone, the friends have gone. So Krishna is left alone. And he's saying that I cannot return to Vrindavan all alone. Why?
Because the mothers will ask.
He doesn't want the mothers to be suffering or struggling in separation of their sons. No, so therefore he's thinking that I cannot go back alone to Vrindavan. Yeah, Shailesh, you have your hand raised.
This paragraph, this raises three questions for me. First question is, in the first chapter itself, we saw that Brahma had prayed to Lord Vishnu so that he would take birth in Bhulok and eliminate the problem that was Kansa. Okay, so now why is he surprised that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has taken birth as Krishna? That is number one. Number two, uh, isn't it a bit immature for someone like a Brahma to take away the children and the calves for one? I mean, it will come in the rest of the chapter, but he takes them away for one whole year, and he knows that he took them away for one whole year. And third is that Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of Godhood, could he not summon Brahma and ask him to give the children and the calves back?
Okay, so the first question, how come Brahma has done this if he is aware, and why is he surprised that Krishna is God? We have to understand that Brahma, he is still in the material world, right? So he is not 100% pure devotee. He becomes 100% pure devotee over time. But because he is in the material world, he is still not 100% pure devotee, right? He is almost a pure devotee because he is in the highest planet in the material world, right? But he is still not 100% pure devotee, because if he was a pure devotee, then he would have been in the spiritual world. For some reason, he's still in the material world. So when we are still in the material world, sometimes this bewilderment, sometimes this falling into Maya, sometimes this falling into illusion, although we know, still the doubts will creep into our mind. So this is what has happened with Lord Brahma, because he's like, oh yes, Krishna is God. But this 5-year-old boy, he's exchanging the lunch boxes with the Gopa friends. Is he really God? So he's like, okay, let me see some of my power and let me see Krishna's power. How is Krishna going to counteract the situation? Okay, so that's what Lord Brahma is thinking, according to our acharyas. Then your second question, is it immature of Brahma? Yes, but sometimes, now this is one angle of vision, but sometimes Krishna also uses his devotees um, to teach us a lesson. So you can look at it from both angles of vision. Yes, what Brahma did was not very intelligent, but Brahma is the most intelligent living entity in the universe because he's on the topmost planet at the same time. Yeah, simultaneously. So we can also answer this question from different angles of vision. So yes, it was not mature of Brahma. Brahma wanted to test Krishna. He wanted to play a trick on Krishna. But you said 1 year, right? That 1 year is in our calculation, it was 1 year. But for Brahma, it was just one moment. He just he turned back, and then we will see what happened. For Brahma, it was just one moment what he did. It was not for 1 year. And another thing that our acharyas explain is Brahma was able to do what he did, right? He was able to kidnap the calves, he was able to kidnap the Gopa friends only because Krishna allowed it to happen. Brahma does not have the power and potency to do it on his own. Just like how, because when you deal with devotees of Krishna also, we don't have such potency. Okay, because remember the devotees are directly under the protection of Krishna. So these Gopa friends, these calves are directly under the protection of Krishna, and Brahma does not have the power and potency to kidnap them on of his own power and potency. It is because Krishna sanctioned it. Krishna sanctioned it. So this is how our acharyas explain this pastime. Now, just as how Putana, now when Putana came, we saw that even Mother Yashoda and Mother Rohini, they did not stop Putana, right? So even Yashoda was bewildered, carried away when they saw the beauty of Putana. Why? Because Krishna allowed Putana to bewilder Yashoda and Rohini. Putana on her own does not have the potency to even to have any kind of influence on Krishna's mothers, parents, devotees, pure devotees. So Krishna allowed it to happen. That's why Brahma was able to do it. And another thing is actually, Brahma did not steal these calves and Gopa friends. What Brahma did was Yoga Maya manifested another set, like a duplicate, another set of Gopa friends and calves, and those were stolen by Brahma. Brahma cannot even touch these pure devotees of Krishna. Just as how when Ravan kidnapped Sita, he did not kidnap Sita, he kidnapped Maya Sita, Shadow Sita, because Ravan cannot even touch Sita. He does not have that power. So they were actually the ones that Brahma kidnapped were not even the real Gopa friends and calves. Does that answer your questions? Did I answer all three?
The last one,
What was the last one?
I mean, Krishna could have summoned Lord Brahma and asked him to give back the calves and the.
Yeah, so Krishna also is playing along. Krishna is playing along in this trick. Sometimes you say, no, okay, you're trying to trick me. Let me see how far you can go. So Krishna is playing along. Yeah, Krishna could do many things, but because Krishna sanctioned, first of all, that he should kidnap, so then we have to understand that these are leelas. Krishna is displaying his pastimes for the pleasure of the devotees also. Okay. Therefore, in order to satisfy the mothers of his friends as well as to convince Brahma of the supremacy of the personality of Godhead. See, there it is. Why Krishna played along? Because he also wants to convince Brahma of the supremacy of the personality of God. So there is some doubt Brahma has. So Krishna wants to convince him. So in order to satisfy the mothers of his friends as well as to convince Brahma of the supremacy of the personality of Godhead, he immediately expanded himself as the cowherd boys and calves. In the Vedas it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has already expanded himself into so many living entities by his energy. Therefore, it was not very difficult for him to expand himself again into so many boys and calves. He expanded himself to become exactly like the boys who were of all different features and facial bodily constructions, and who were different in their clothing and ornaments and in their behavior and personal activities. In other words, although each boy, being an individual soul, had entirely different tastes, activities, and behavior, Krishna exactly expanded himself into the different positions of the individual boys. He also became the calves who were also of different sizes, colors, activities, etc. This was possible because everything is an expansion of Krishna's energy. In the Vishnu Puran it is said, Parasya Brahmana Shakti. Whatever we see in the cosmic manifestation, be it matter or the activities of the living entities, is simply an expansion of the energies of the Lord, as heat and light are the different expansions of fire. So what has Krishna done now?
He expanded himself exactly like the boys and the.
He expanded himself exactly like the calves and the boys, the different forms, the different clothes, the different jewelry, exactly like the boys and the uh, calves. So why does he do this? In order to satisfy the mothers of his friends, as well as to convince Brahma of the supremacy of the personality of Godhead. See, Krishna is that personality who doesn't force, no, he doesn't use he doesn't take away your free will. So he is not trying to convert you, but he wants to convince you. He wants to convince you. So nobody wants to, I mean, neither Krishna nor his bona fide representatives, the gurus, nobody wants to force you. It's not that you are forced to take to Krishna consciousness under the gunpoint. No, convert. No, we don't believe in conversion. Krishna and his devotees, they believe in convincing you, not in converting you. So therefore, Krishna wants to convince Brahma. He's not using force on Brahma in order for him to uh, behave, so to speak. Yeah, Shailesh, you have your hand raised?
Sorry, I still got stuck on the first point. Why is it required for Krishna to convince Brahma? Because it was Brahma in the first place who went to the ocean, and he prayed for Vishnu to help Bhumi Devi with the problem that they had with Kamsa. He couldn't solve that problem himself. He had to pray to Lord Vishnu to solve that problem. And then Lord Vishnu conveyed to him that he would take birth uh, in uh, in in Bhumi, and still he requires some convincing of the powers of Supreme Personality of Godhood. Uh, I mean, when he knows that he cannot solve the problem himself, and he needs the Supreme Personality of Godhood to solve that problem. Why is that?
See, because Krishna is most confidential subject matter. Not everybody can understand Krishna. Only the purest of his pure devotees can actually understand Krishna. In this case, Brahma has not fully understood Krishna. Krishna, yes, Brahma can go to Shirodakashai Vishnu, but he does not have access to Krishna. So this is the reason why when Krishna came in the material world, all these demigods have also come to see him because they do not have access to Krishna and Goloka and in Goloka and Vaikuntha planets. So Krishna is very, very confidential. His most confidential subject matter only for the purest of the pure devotees can understand Krishna. And Brahma is not yet on that level, not yet. So he is bewildered, he is confused, he is under the influence of Maya. The
But he was told that
demigods can also come under the influence of Maya.
But he was told that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhood. In the previous slide, it is said that he was told that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhood.
In the previous
And yet,
slide,
yes, it says in the previous slide that he was informed that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhood. Although he was informed that the little cowherd boy was the Supreme Personality of Godhood. And
yes, so
still,
the doubt is there. See, he is informed. We may be informed so many things. Now, see, we are informed. When we buy a box of cigarettes, we are informed that statutory warning, cigarette smoking is injurious to health. But still some people smoke, right? So we may be informed of so many things, but not necessarily we are acting on it. So
statutory
Brahma
warning.
was informed, he is aware, but still he is so illusioned because he is saying, oh yes, if he is God, then how he is playing like an ordinary cowherd boy, exchanging lunch boxes, joking with his friends. He's like, huh? Really? Let's see what can be done. Like that. Okay? See, for some reason, Krishna's name is Achintya, inconceivable. We cannot understand. Okay? We try to understand. But as we advance, then Krishna reveals himself more and more. Thus expanding himself as the boys and calves in their individual capacities and surrounded by such expansions of himself, Krishna entered the village of Vrindavan. The residents had no knowledge of what had happened. After entering the village of Vrindavan, all the calves entered their respective cowsheds and the boys went to their respective mothers and homes. So all these calves and cowherd boys, they have gone to their respective homes, but actually they are all Who?
Krishna.
Kṛṣṇa, yes.
Mhm.
The mothers of the boys heard the vibration of their flutes before their entrance, and to receive them, they came out of their homes and embraced them. And out of maternal affection, milk was flowing from their breasts, and they allowed the boys to drink it. However, their offering was not exactly to their boys, but to the Supreme Personality of Godhead who had expanded himself into such boys. This was a chance for all the mothers of Vrindavan to feed the Supreme Personality of Godhead with their own milk. Therefore, not only did Krishna give Yashoda the chance to feed him, but this time he gave the chance to all the elder gopis. So, why Krishna has done this? Because all these elderly gopis, they have motherly affection for Krishna, and they were all desiring, oh, how I wish I had a son like Krishna. So, Krishna is fulfilling their desires. No? See, Krishna, he kills, what do you call it? Kills many birds with one stone. He's fulfilling the desires of the elderly gopis. At the same time, he is removing the doubts of Brahma. He wants to convince Lord Brahma. No? So he does many things at the same time. All the boys dealt with their mothers as usual, and the mothers also, on the approach of evening, bathed their respective children, decorated them with tilak and ornaments, and gave them necessary food after the day's labor. The cows also, who had been away in the pasturing ground, returned in the evening and called their respective calves. The calves immediately came to their mothers, and the mothers began to lick the bodies of the calves. These relations of the cows and the gopis with their calves and boys remain unchanged. Although actually the original calves and boys were not there. Actually, the cows' affection for their calves and the elderly gopis' affection for their boys causelessly increased. Their affection increased naturally even though the calves and boys were not their offspring. Although the cows and the elder gopis of Vrindavan had greater affection for Krishna than their own offspring, after this incident their affection for their offspring increased unlimitedly, exactly as it did for Krishna. For 1 year continually, Krishna expanded himself as the calves and cowherd boys and was present in the pasturing ground. See, normally we say, no, the mother knows instinctively who is her son. If somebody else poses as her son, still she will be able to say that this is not my son. But in this case, the elderly gopis, they were not able to make out that these my sons are actually not my sons. Even the cows were not able to make out that these calves are not our children. No, and in fact they were feeling even more affection to these calves and gopas who were the expansions of Krishna than they were feeling for their own children. Yeah, Shailesh, you have your hand raised.
I just wanted to understand. It says that they give more love. So is it in a way understood that they, in a way, know that this is there is some form of Krishna there?
No, they didn't know. They didn't know.
Okay. And then,
It's just happening instinctively. Why they don't know, but instinctively they are feeling more affection, more love for the calves and the.
but one more question that I wanted to ask. Even though they have got the birth of a cow, since they are feeding Krishna in a way, so does that mean that they got liberated?
Yeah, all the residents of Vrindavan, not only the human
Even
beings
the
or
cow.
the cows, all of them, at the end, Krishna comes back to Vrindavan and he takes everybody back home, back to Godhead.
Good cows.
Yes. They are not ordinary cows. Definitely, they all went back to Godhead.
Aho bhagya.
Yes. As it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's expansion is situated in everyone's heart as a super soul. But in this case, instead of expanding himself as a super soul, he expanded himself as a portion of calves and cowherd boys for 1 continuous year. So, yes, by earthly calculation, this went on for 1 whole year. One day, a few days before a year had passed, Krishna and Balaram were maintaining the calves in the forest when they saw some cows grazing on the top of Govardhan hill. The cows could see down into the valley where the calves were being taken care of by the boys. Suddenly, on sighting the cows began to run toward them. They leaped downhill with joined front and rear legs. The cows were so melted with affection for the calves that they did not care about the rough path from the top of Govardhan hill down to the pasturing ground. They approached the calves with their milk bags full of milk, and they raised their tail upwards. When they were coming down the hill, their milk bags were pouring milk on the ground out of intense maternal affection for the calves, although they were not their own calves. These cows had their own calves, and the calves that were grazing beneath Govardhan Hill were larger. They were not expected to drink milk directly from the milk bag, but were satisfied with the grass. Yet all the cows came immediately and began to lick their bodies, and the calves also began to suck milk from the milk bags. There appeared to be a great bond of affection between the cows and the calves. So these cows are on top of the Govardhan hill. The calves are down. As soon as the cows see the calves, they are rushing down and they want to give milk to their calves. And some of the calves are grown up. They are big enough for not taking the mother's milk anymore, but still out of affection. No, remember those calves are Krishna. So then even those calves are taking milk from their mothers. Yeah, Durga Prasad, you have your hand raised.
Mataji, what happened to Balram that time when
Yeah,
Krishna
Balaram
took
is
over?
coming up shortly. Balaram is coming up shortly. He now a few days, 5, 6 days before one completion of 1 year, then he has this doubt. How come they are having more affection? No, so then yeah, it's coming up now. You will read in the next slides. When the cows were running down from top of Govardhan Hill, the men who were taking care of them tried to stop them. Older cows are taken care of by the men and the calves are taken care of by the boys. And as far as possible, the calves are kept separate from the cows so that the calves do not drink all the available milk. Therefore, the men who were taking care of the cows on top of the Govardhan Hill tried to stop them, but they failed. Baffled by their failure, they were feeling ashamed and angry. They were very unhappy, and when they came down and saw their children taking care of the calves, they all of a sudden became very affectionate toward the children. It was very astonishing. Although the men came down disappointed, baffled, and angry, as soon as they saw their own children, their hearts melted with great affection. At once their anger, dissatisfaction, and happiness disappeared. They began to show paternal love for their children, and with great affection they lifted them in their arms and embraced them. They began to smell their children's heads and enjoy their company with great happiness. After embracing their children, the men took the cows back to the top of Govardhan Hill. Along the way, they began to think of their children, and affectionate tears fell from their eyes. Now Balaram comes up. When Balaram saw this extraordinary exchange of affection between the cows and the calves and between the fathers and their children, when neither the calves nor the children needed so much love, he began to wonder why this extraordinary thing had happened. He was astonished to see all the residents of Vrindavan so affectionate to their own children, exactly as they had been to Krishna. Similarly, the cows had grown affectionate to the calves, as much as to Kṛṣṇa. Balaram therefore concluded that the extraordinary show of affection was something mystical, either performed by the demigods or by some powerful man. Otherwise, how could this wonderful change take place? He concluded that this mystical change must have been caused by Krishna, whom Balaram considered his worshipable personality of Godhead. He thought, it was arranged by Krishna, and even I could not check its mystic power. Thus, Balaram understood that all those boys and calves were only expansions of Krishna. So, finally, Balaram realized only now, some 5, 6 days before the completion of 1 year, only then Balaram realizes that actually these are the expansions of Krishna. Now, one may ask, why did he not know this before? How come the cowherd men did not notice this before? How come Balaram does not know this before? Because they were all covered by the potency of Yoga Maya. Even Balaram, Krishna did not want Balaram also to know, because Krishna didn't want Balaram to to live in separation from his friends. No, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains this, that Krishna didn't want Balaram to be living in separation from his friends. Therefore, Krishna did not allow Balaram also to know about this until just 5-6 days before the completion of 1 year period. Balaram inquired from Krishna about the actual situation. He said, "My dear Krishna, in the beginning I thought that all these calves and cowherd boys were either great sages or saintly persons or demigods, but at present it appears that they are actually your expansions. They are all of you. You yourself are playing as the calves and boys. What is the mystery of this situation? Where have those other calves and boys gone? And why are you expanding yourself as the calves and boys? Will you kindly tell me what is the cause?" At the request of Balaram, Krishna briefly explained the whole situation, how the calves and boys had been stolen by Brahma, and how Krishna was concealing the incident by expanding himself so people would not know that the original calves and boys were missing. While Krishna and Balaram were talking, Brahma returned after a moment's interval. See, so for Brahma, it was just one moment, according to the duration of his life. We have information of Lord Brahma's duration of life from the Bhagavad Gita, 1000 times the duration of the 4 ages, or 1000 into 4,320,000 years constitute Brahma's 12 hours. Similarly, 1 moment of Brahma's time is equal to 1 year of our solar calculation. After 1 moment of Brahma's calculation, Brahma came back to see the fun caused by his stealing the boys and calves, but he was also afraid that he was playing with fire. Krishna was his master, and he had played mischief for fun by taking away his calves and boys. He was really anxious, so he did not stay away very long. He came back after a moment. So Brahma also was anxious. He was afraid. So he did it, and immediately he came to see what is going on. But of course, by the earthly calculation, 1 year had passed. He saw that all the boys and calves were playing with Krishna in the same way as when he had come upon them, although he was confident that he had taken them and made them lie down asleep under the spell of his mystic power. Brahma began to think, "All the boys and calves were taken away by me, and I know that they are still sleeping. How is it that a similar batch of boys and calves is playing with Krishna? Is it that they were not influenced by my mystic power? Have they been playing continually for 1 year with Krishna?" Brahma tried to understand who they were and how they were uninfluenced by his mystic power, but he could not ascertain it. In other words, he himself came under the spell of his own mystic power. So see, one may be very, very powerful, one may have a lot of mystic powers, one may have a lot of potency. But when your potency, your power, when you try your potency and your power with somebody who has greater power and greater potency, then your power and your potency has no meaning to it. It will be reduced to nothing. Let's say somebody is a millionaire and he's very proud of his money. But when he comes across a trillionaire, then what is the use of his millions in front of a trillionaire? It has no value, no, when you compare. So in the same way, the potency of Brahma has no meaning, was reduced to nothing, because he was trying his potency on Krishna, who was the master of all mystic power. Krishna is Yogeshwar. He's also referred to as Maha Yogeshwar in the Bhagavad Gita. So therefore, Krishna's mystic power had no Brahma's mystic power had no meaning when he tried that mystic power on Krishna and his devotees. The influence of his mystic power appeared like snow in darkness, or a glow-worm in the daytime. During the night's darkness, the glow-worm can show some glittering power, and the snow piled up on top of the hill or on the ground can shine through the daytime. But at night, the snow has no silver glitter, nor does the glow-worm have any illuminating power during the daytime. Similarly, when the small mystic power exhibited by Brahma was before the mystic power of Krishna, it was just like snow at night or a glow-worm during the day. When a man of small mystic power wants to show potency in the presence of great mystic power, he diminishes his own influence. He does not increase it. Even such a great personality as Brahma, when he wanted to show his mystic power before Krishna, became ludicrous. Brahma was thus confused about his own mystic power. So Brahma can show his power in some places, but he cannot show it with Krishna. When he tried to display it over Krishna, then it did not work. In order to convince Brahma that all those calves and boys were not the original ones, the calves and boys who were playing with Krishna transformed into Vishnu forms. Actually, the original ones were sleeping under the spell of Brahma's mystic power. But the present ones, seen by Brahma, were all immediate expansions of Krishna or Vishnu. Vishnu is the expansion of Krishna, so the Vishnu forms appeared before Brahma. All the Vishnu forms were of bluish color and dressed in yellow garments. All of them had 4 hands decorated with club, disc, lotus flower, and conch shell. On their heads were glittering golden helmets inlaid with jewels. They were bedecked with pearls and earrings and garlanded with beautiful flowers. On their chests was the mark of Srivatsa. Their arms were decorated with armlets and other jewelry, and their necks were just like conch shells. Their legs were decorated with bells, their waists with golden bells, and their fingers with jeweled rings. Brahma also saw that upon the whole body of each Lord Vishnu, from the lotus feet up to the top of his head, fresh tulsi leaves and buds had been thrown. Another significant feature of the Vishnu forms was that all of them were looking transcendently beautiful. Their smiling resembled the moonshine, and their glancing resembled the early rising of the sun. Just by their glancing, they showed themselves to be the creators and maintainers of the modes of ignorance and passion. Vishnu represents the mode of goodness, Brahma the mode of passion, and Lord Shiva the mode of ignorance. Therefore, as the maintainer of everything in the cosmic manifestation, Vishnu is also the creator and maintainer of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. So you can see in this photo how Lord Brahma is completely bewildered when he saw that all these gopas and calves were all expansions of Krishna. So Krishna is showing him. Krishna is showing him. After this manifestation of Lord Vishnu, Brahma saw that many other Brahmas and Shivas and demigods and even insignificant living entities down to the ants and very small straws, all moving and non-moving living entities were dancing surrounding Lord Vishnu. Their dancing was accompanied by various kinds of music, and all of them were worshipping Lord Vishnu. Brahma realized that all those Vishnu forms were complete in mystic power, from the anima perfection of becoming small like an atom up to becoming infinite like the cosmic manifestation. All the mystic powers of Brahma, Shiva, all the demigods, and the 24 elements of the cosmic manifestation were fully represented in the power of Vishnu. By the influence of Lord Vishnu, all subordinate mystic powers were engaged in his worship. He was being worshipped by time, space, the cosmic manifestation, reformation, desire, activity, and the 3 qualities of material nature. Lord Vishnu, Brahma also realized, is the reservoir of all truth, knowledge, and bliss. He is the combination of 3 transcendental features, namely eternity, knowledge, and bliss. And he is the object of worship by the followers of the Upanishads. So how many Brahmas and Shivas are existing across all creation? Because what we saw here, Brahma saw that many other Brahmas and Shivas and demigods.
So many. Each material world has its own Brahma. Right?
Each universe has its own Brahma. No, our universe has how many headed Brahma?
4.
Our universe has a 4-headed
3.
Lord Brahma, right? Our Brahma has 4 heads. But there are other universes where there are Brahmas with 10 heads, 10,000 heads, 10 million heads, with 10 quadrillion heads, like that. So depending on the size of the universe, the Brahma of that particular universe has that many number of heads proportionately. So our Brahma has only 4 heads, which means our universe is very, very small compared to other universes. So Krishna is showing him all the Brahmas, all the Shivas in the universes, across all universes. Brahma realized that all the different forms of boys and calves transformed into Vishnu forms were not transformed by a mysticism of the type that a yogi or a demigod can display by specific powers invested in him. The calves and boys transformed into Vishnu Murtis or Vishnu forms were not displays of Vishnu Maya or Vishnu's energy, but were Vishnu himself. The respective qualifications of Vishnu and Vishnu Maya are just like fire and heat. In the heat, there is qualification of fire, namely warmth, and yet heat is not fire. The manifestation of the Vishnu forms of the boys and calves was not like the heat, but was rather the fire. They were all actually Vishnu. Actually, the qualification of Vishnu is full truth, full knowledge, and full bliss. So, Sat Chit Ananda. No, truth, knowledge, and bliss means Sat Chit Ananda. Another example can be given with material objects which are reflected in many forms. For example, the sun is reflected in many water pots, but the reflections of the sun in the many pots are not actually the sun. There is no actual heat or light from the suns in the pots, although they appear like the sun. But the forms which Krishna assumed were each and every one full Vishnu. The specific word used in this connection is Satya Jnana Nanta Nanda. Satya means truth, Jnana full knowledge, Ananta unlimited, and Ananda full bliss. So Krishna has not created these forms something like a duplicate ones or something that is created by mystic power, which is some kind of a magic, some kind of an illusion. No, actually, each one of them was personally Krishna. The glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are so great that the impersonalistic followers of the Upanishads cannot reach the platform of knowledge to understand them. Especially the transcendental forms of the Lord are beyond the reach of the impersonalists, who can only understand through studying the Upanishads that the absolute truth is not matter or is not materially restricted. From Krishna's expansion into Vishnu forms, Lord Brahma could understand by his limited potency that everything movable and immovable within the cosmic manifestation is existing due to the expansion of the energy of the Supreme Lord. When Brahma was thus standing baffled in his limited power and conscious of his limited activities within the 11 senses, he could realize that he was also a creation of the material energy, just like a puppet. As a puppet has no independent power to dance, but dances according to the direction of the puppet master, so the demigods and living entities are all subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As it is stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the only master is Krishna and all others are his servants. The whole world is under the waves of the material spell, and beings are floating like straws in water. So their struggle for existence is continuing. But as soon as one becomes conscious that he is the eternal servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this Maya or illusory struggle for existence is immediately stopped. So see, we must always remember that Krishna is the master and we are the servants. When we forget that, when we think that we are great, God is not great. When we think that we are great, then we will be put into illusion like Lord Brahma. Brahma momentarily forgot that he is a servant of Krishna. Momentarily he forgot. So Krishna showed him what he is, what is his position. Lord Brahma, who has full control over the goddess of learning. So imagine he is the husband of Saraswati, who is the goddess of learning, no? So even such a person was bewildered. Even such a person was bewildered. So Lord Brahma, who has full control over the goddess of learning and who is considered to be the best authority in Vedic knowledge, was thus perplexed, being unable to understand the extraordinary power manifested by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the mundane world, even a personality like Brahma is unable to understand the mystic power of the Supreme Lord. Not only did Brahma fail to understand, but he was perplexed even to see the display which was being manifested by Krishna before him. So because see, he is in the mundane world, so in the material world, even a personality like Brahma is unable to understand the mystic power of the Supreme Lord. Krishna took compassion upon Brahma because of his inability to see how Krishna was displaying the forms of Vishnu and transforming himself into calves and cowherd boys, and thus, while fully manifesting the Vishnu expansions, he suddenly pulled his curtain of Yoga Maya over the scene. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not visible due to the curtain spread by Yoga Maya. That which covers the reality is Mahamaya, or the external energy, which does not allow a conditioned soul to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead beyond the cosmic manifestation. But the energy which partially manifests the Supreme Personality of Godhead and partially does not allow one to see is called Yoga Maya. Brahma is not an ordinary conditioned soul. He is far, far superior to all the other demigods, and yet he could not comprehend the display of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Krishna willingly stopped manifesting any further potency. The conditioned soul not only becomes bewildered but is completely unable to understand. The curtain of Yoga Maya was drawn so that Brahma would not become more and more perplexed. So now Krishna has pulled down the curtain of Yoga Maya. That means now Krishna has prevented Brahma to see any more of these potencies that Brahma was seeing. No. When Brahma was relieved from his perplexity, he appeared to awaken from an almost dead state, and he began to open his eyes with great difficulty. Thus he could see the external cosmic manifestation with common eyes. He saw all around him the super excellent view of Vrindavan full of trees, which is the source of life for all living entities. He could appreciate the transcendental land of Vrindavan, where all the living entities are transcendental to ordinary nature. In the forest of Vrindavan, even ferocious animals like tigers live peacefully along with deer and human beings. He could understand that because of the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vrindavan is transcendental to all other places and is free of lust and greed. Brahma thus found Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, playing the part of a small cowherd boy. He saw that little child with a lump of food in his left hand, searching out for his friends and calves, just as he had actually been doing 1 year before after his disappearance. Immediately Brahma descended from his great swan carrier and fell down before the Lord just like a golden stick. What do you mean by that? If he fell down like a golden stick, what kind of pranam he is offering to Krishna?
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat pranam, right? He's gone flat on the ground. So the word used here among the Vaishnavas for offering respect is dandavat. This word means falling down like a stick. One should offer respect to the superior Vaishnava by falling down straight with his body just like a stick. So Brahma fell down before the Lord just like a stick to offer respect, and because the complexion of Brahma is golden, he appeared to be like a golden stick lying down before Lord Krishna. All the 4 helmets of the heads of Brahma touched the lotus feet of Krishna. Brahma, being very joyful, began to shed tears, and he washed the lotus feet of Krishna with his tears. Repeatedly he fell and rose as he recalled the wonderful activities of the Lord. After repeating obeisances for a long time, Brahma stood up and smeared his hands over his eyes. Seeing the Lord before him, he trembling began to offer prayers with great respect, humility, and attention. So, how many heads does our Brahma have?
4.
And as he's touching his head to the lotus feet of Krishna, the Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that because he offers his one head to Krishna's lotus feet, but then there are 3 other heads which are facing in other directions. So he again gets up, again he turns around, again he offers obeisances. Then again he gets up, again he turns around, and again he offers obeisances, no, because he has 4 heads. So like that repeatedly, Lord Brahma was doing that, and he was offering Dandavat Pranam to Krishna. And he's crying profusely, and with all his tears, he's washing the lotus feet of Krishna. How old is Krishna?
5.
Now he's 6. Now he's 6, no?
Yeah.
Because 1 year has passed. So, so Lord Brahma is offering Dandavat Pranam to a 6-year-old Krishna. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 13th chapter of Krishna, the stealing of boys and calves by Brahma. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So with this, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we come to the end of chapter number 13. Do we have any questions or comments?
Yes, Mataji, I had a question regarding the Shiva, because like every universe has different Brahmas, but different Shiva as well, right?
See, there is one Shiva in the Vaikuntha planets. He's called Sadashiva.
Yes.
Then there is one Shiva who's between the spiritual and the material worlds. And there is one Shiva who's within the material world as well, who's in charge. The Shiva that is in the material world is in charge of the mode of ignorance. So the Shiva that is within the universe, in charge of the particular mode of ignorance, that Shiva is there in all the universes.
Okay, but Sadashiva, which is in Vaikuntha, and then
That is eternal. That Shiva is eternal. That Shiva who's in the Vaikuntha planets, he is eternal.
and
But
then
the Shiva
between
who's
the
in the material world, he is not eternal.
So Sadashiva is a true devotee because he's at Vaikuntha.
Exactly. Yes, you said it.
And the one between the spiritual and the material world is also called Shiva, Sadashiva, or what it is called?
I don't know what he is called. Actually, there are 11 Rudras. I don't know what is the exact name of that particular manifestation of Lord Shiva, but he is the one who does that service of uniting with material nature, and then from the womb of Durga Devi, the living entities are transformed into material nature. So that's what he does. I don't know what exactly he's called, but that's what he does.
Presented at the diagram.
Ah, yes, you remember that diagram? Yeah, that's the service that Lord Shiva takes up voluntarily for the sake of creation. So that is that Shiva who's between the material and spiritual worlds.
On the Viraja river.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Priyanka, have your hand raised.
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna, Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. I have actually two questions. When we say that Krishna does not interfere with our free will, and at the same time we are also saying that nothing happens without the sanction of Krishna. So these two statements are contrasting each other. So how do we understand it separately?
Okay, so how to understand these statements which seem to contradict each other? Krishna does not interfere with my free will. So I am free to do what I want. Yes. And on the other side, I am free to do what I want is because Krishna is sanctioning it for me. So Krishna sanctions it because I desire it. I cannot do it on my own power or on my own potency. Just like a small child, no? He may be independent. Let's say he's into teenage and he's going to school on his own. So he may think that I'm independent, I'm going to school because I want to go to school. But still, if the father is not paying the fees or if the mother doesn't allow him to go to the house, how is he going to do it? So the parents are sanctioning, that's why the child is going to school. But the child may think that I'm independent, I'm going to school on my own. So he doesn't interfere with our free will. But at the same time, I can only do it because he is sanctioning it. So why is he sanctioning it? He is sanctioning it because I desire it. Does it make sense?
Yes, yes. And the other question is that when we say that nothing happens without the sanction of Krishna, then how do we, someone who is new to Krishna consciousness, then how do we explain so many wrong things happening in this material world? So this statement will force the people to think that this is also what Krishna wants, like war or abuse against women or something like that. So many wrong things that we see happening around in this world.
Yeah, so
So should we?
Krishna is not responsible for the wrong things happening in this world. For example, if somebody is a murderer and he's murdering, and he says, but well, I was able to murder because Krishna sanctioned it. No, but Krishna is not, that's not what Krishna wanted. Krishna has not desired it. He has only sanctioned your desire. That is not Krishna's desire. Krishna's desire is that everybody should come home, back to Godhead. His desire is not that you should commit the murder. He is only sanctioning your desire. And why does he sanction? How is it fair? Why? Because one may think that it is unfair. What Krishna does is those other people who have not surrendered to Krishna, they are under the law of karma. They are under the law of karma. So the person who's committing the murder, for committing that murder, he has to take the karmic reaction. Okay? And the person who is being murdered, he is also being murdered because of his past karmic reaction. What Krishna does is he makes the two things coincide. He makes the two things coincide. So the person who's committing the bad activity, he has to take the karmic reaction. So it is fair. The person who's a victim of that crime is suffering, or he's a victim of the crime because of his past karmic activity. Krishna has not interfered with the free will of both of them. But what Krishna does is he makes the two things coincide. Because already Krishna knows from before that you are going to commit this murder to this person. So Krishna knows past, present, and future. So he makes the things coincide. So everything is fair and square, right? So we can
Yeah.
understand how free will works and how also Krishna's sanction works.
So Krishna is basically sanctioning our free will. Is that statement correct?
Correct. We are
Thanks so
using
much.
our free will to take our moment to moment decisions. See, the activity, the action is us. We cannot blame Krishna for the action. But the reaction, that is Krishna, because the reaction is under the law of karma. And the law of karma is coming under the law of Krishna. Krishna has made that law of karma. Just like how you are a citizen in your country, right? You're driving on the road. There are rules and regulations. You have to stop at the red light. But when you're actually driving, is there a policeman who's controlling the brakes of your car? No, that time you use your free will to break the traffic signal. But then the reaction will come later. You have to pay the fine, right? So you
Thank you
have
so
your
much.
free will when you're driving on the road. The rules are there. You have your free will when you're driving on the road. But if you use your free will to do something wrong, then you have to bear the consequences.
Yeah, so basically Krishna does not interfere with our free will. And then
Yes, Krishna does not interfere with our free will because the relationship between Krishna and us is based on love. What is the point in forcing? Love cannot be forced, no. So therefore, he doesn't interfere with the free. We should desire it. If we want Krishna, then we have to desire Krishna. If I'm sticking to bad habits and I don't desire Krishna, then how will I become a devotee, for example? I should want to be with Krishna. Then only Krishna will sanction it for me, no? Does it make sense?
yes,
This is
got it.
something like Shantanu and his children with Ganga, right?
What's that?
This is something like what happens with Shantanu and his children with Ganga. So
Yes,
she
there is a background, there is a story from the previous life, no? They were actually Ganga, when she drowned her first few children, she was actually liberating them. And Ganga was cursed by Lord Brahma. That there is, yes. So Ganga was actually Ganga is a residence of the heavenly planetary systems. So she knew what she was doing. Shantanu was bewildered because he was not aware of what is happening.
he had a broken heart, 8 children.
Yeah, not easy, no? But when you understand the will of Krishna, then it is easier to understand. Yeah, Shreya?
Madhuri, can you explain again the difference between Yoga Maya and Mahamaya? They said like Krishna pulled the curtain of Yoga Maya, and there was something mentioned about the Mahamaya as well.
See, Krishna's internal expansion, internal energy is Yoga Maya. And Yoga Maya's expansion is Mahamaya. Yoga Maya, now see, the residents of Vrindavan, they don't know that Krishna is God, right? Kamsa also does not know that Krishna is God. But Kamsa is under the influence of Mahamaya, because Mahamaya deals with the demons.
Yoga Maya deals with the
Yoga Maya deals with the devotees. And why Yoga Maya makes the devotees or the Vrajavasis forget that Krishna is God? In order to enhance the loving pastimes. So when Yoga Maya acts, she brings the devotees closer to Krishna. When Mahamaya acts, she takes the people away from Krishna. Like Kamsa was going away from Krishna because he was getting so, he saw Krishna as an enemy, right? But the intimacy of the Gopa friends with Krishna increased Because they don't know that Krishna is God. Because if they know that Krishna is God, the relationship will not be so intimate. It will be very respectful. There will be a distance. There will be a wall between them. So this is Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. Both of them make you forget that Krishna is God. But Yoga Maya acts on devotees. Mahamaya acts on demons. Yoga Maya increases the intimacy of Krishna with his devotees. Mahamaya takes people away from Krishna.
Mm. Mm.
You're welcome. Anything else? Are we ready for the exam? Okay, the exam is coming up right now in your chat. There it goes. I hope you can access it. Can you all access it? Okay.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, thank you.
Mataji, I can't access it. I don't know what happened.
Okay, I'll share it again in the chat.
Yeah.
Can you access it now, Dipti?
No, I don't. Oh, yeah. Wait, let me try it. Yeah, now, yeah.
Okay.